Have you ever wondered what life was truly like for the Vikings? Beyond the horned helmets of myth and the caricature of the bloodthirsty barbarian, who were these people who sailed forth from Scandinavia to change the course of history? You might be surprised to learn that Vikings were not just fierce warriors, but also skilled craftsmen, traders, explorers, and farmers, with a complex society and a rich culture. For nearly 3 centuries, from the late 8th to the mid-11th century, their influence was felt across continents. Ready to delve into the captivating world of the Vikings? Join us as we unravel the truth behind their legendary exploits, revealing fascinating insights into their society, beliefs, and lasting impact on history. This is the story of the Vikings, beyond the myths and legends. For centuries, the popular image of the Viking has been one of a savage barbarian, clad in horned helmets, existing only to plunder and destroy. But this stereotype, largely crafted by their victims and later embellished by Victorian Romanticism, obscures a far more nuanced reality. The iconic horned helmet, a theatrical invention of the 19th century, with no evidence they were ever worn by Vikings in battle. The term Viking Age generally refers to the period from the late 8th century, often marked by the infamous raid on the Lindisfarne Monastery in England in 793 AD, to the mid-11th century, culminating in events like the Norman conquest of England in 1066, led by descendants of Vikings. But these were not simply centuries of mindless raiding. They were an age of exploration, intricate trade, sophisticated artistry, and profound societal development. Viking society was far from a disorganized mob. It was structured with clear social hierarchies. At the top were the jarls, the powerful chieftains and aristocrats. Below them were carls, the free people, farmers, merchants, skilled artisans like blacksmiths, shipwrights, and poets known as skalds. At the bottom were thralls or slaves, often captured in raids or born into servitude. It's a stark reminder that Viking society, while complex, also participated in practices common, yet brutal, for the era. While raiding provided wealth for some, the backbone of the Viking economy for many was agriculture and trade. They were skilled farmers, adapting to harsh northern climates. Their trade networks were vast and sophisticated, stretching from the British Isles and Normandy in the west, through the river systems of Eastern Europe, down to Byzantium and the Abbasid Caliphate. They traded furs, amber, walrus ivory, weapons, and tragically, slaves for silver, silks, spices, and other exotic goods. Archaeological sites like Hedeby in modern-day Germany and Birka in Sweden reveal bustling urban trade centers. The spiritual world of the Vikings was rich with Norse mythology. Tales of Odin, the All-Father, Thor, the thunder god, Freya, the goddess of love and war, and the promise of Valhalla for warriors slain in battle. Their religious practices involve complex rituals and sacrifices. However, the Viking Age also coincided with the spread of Christianity into Scandinavia. This conversion was a gradual process, often driven by political expediency as much as faith, profoundly transforming Viking society by the end of their era. Many sagas written down centuries later in Christianized Iceland offer glimpses into these pre-Christian beliefs, though they must be interpreted with care. What truly set the Vikings apart was their mastery of the sea. Their legendary longships were technological marvels of their time. Clinker-built with overlapping planks, these vessels were strong yet flexible, capable of weathering fierce ocean storms. Their shallow drafts allowed them to navigate far upriver, striking deep inland, but also to explore uncharted waters. Different ships served different purposes: the sleek longships for warfare and raiding, and the broader, sturdier Nars for carrying cargo and colonists. Driven by a combination of factors, overpopulation in their rugged homelands, a thirst for wealth, a desire for new trade opportunities, and perhaps political pressures, Vikings embarked on voyages that were audacious for their time. They didn't just raid, they explored, settled, and established dynasties. To the east, Swedish Vikings known as Varangians or Rus sailed and rowed down the great rivers of Eastern Europe, reaching the Black and Caspian Seas, significantly influencing the formation of early Russian states. To the west, Norwegian and Danish Vikings colonized Iceland in the late 9th century, a land previously uninhabited. From Iceland, Eric the Red led expeditions to Greenland around 985 AD. And then came one of history's most remarkable chapters. Around the year 1000 AD, Leif Erikson, son of Eric the Red, reached the shores of North America, a place they called Vinland, nearly 500 years before Columbus. Archaeological evidence at Lonesome Meadows in Newfoundland, Canada, confirms a Viking presence, with remains of Norse-style buildings. Though these settlements were short-lived, the achievement remains a testament to their incredible seamanship and spirit of exploration. The exact extent and duration of their Vinland settlements are still debated by historians, but their arrival is undeniable. The Viking Age eventually grew to a close as Scandinavia consolidated into Christian kingdoms and Viking energies were absorbed into the European mainstream. Yet their legacy is profound and enduring. Their influence on the English language is undeniable, with hundreds of words, from anger to window, derived from Old Norse. Regions like Normandy in France, land of the Northmen, and the Danelaw in England bear the indelible mark of Viking settlement and rule, shaping political landscapes and cultural identities. Nations like Iceland still preserve a language remarkably close to Old Norse and cherish the sagas that tell of their ancestors. From the parliamentary traditions of Iceland's Althing, one of the oldest in the world, to their impact on genetic diversity across Europe, the Viking footprint is larger than many realize. They continue to inspire, not as one-dimensional warriors, but as a people of resilience, adaptation, and extraordinary ambition. Understanding the Vikings requires looking beyond the sagas and the chronicles of their enemies. Archaeology plays a crucial role, unearthing settlements, ships, tools, and graves that paint a vivid picture of their daily lives, their craftsmanship, and their global connections. Historical texts, when critically analyzed, offer further insights. Modern historians and archaeologists continue to piece together this complex past, often challenging long-held assumptions. The true story of the Vikings is not just about raids and conquest. It's about a dynamic culture that adapted, innovated, and explored the known world, and even ventured into the unknown. They were traders who connected disparate parts of the globe, settlers who built new societies, and artisans who created objects of enduring beauty and complexity. By moving beyond the myths, we discover a people far more fascinating and multifaceted than the legends suggest. The Vikings remind us that history is rarely black and white, and that even the fiercest reputations can hide surprising truths. Who were the Vikings to you before, and who are they to you now?